Haunted mines.
Shalanore.
Hell, it's about damn time.
We will forge a great destiny.
The wait is over.
Bring the mega dip. I will fight to my last breath.
Our world is worth fighting for. Locked and loaded.
Get ready for combat, heroes.
You ready to rock some faces off, bro?
Roger.
I'll be with you shortly.
Battle commencing in
Acknowledged.
10 seconds.
Our ally is in need of assistance.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now go and summon my golems.
Our ally is in need of assistance.
Heading over to help. On it. Dancing on target.
In need of assistance.
Reinforcements.
Capably done, team!
Yeah, I like that. On the offensive.
Double kill.
Makes me wish I had a lighter. Now that is the way you do it.
Acknowledged. Low on mana. Initiate assault. Keep up the healing.
The mines will open shortly, heroes.
Gotta pull back for
Soon
now.
the undead will awaken.
I must heal.
Acknowledged. Already moving.
Our ally is in need of assistance.
There's no turning back now.
Initiating assault. Acknowledged. Engage the hostile.
The enemy has destroyed a fort.
I always keep up the healing. Heading over to help.
Putting feet to paper.
Your fort has fallen.
On it.
The damned shall soon return.
Keep up the healing.
Enemy slain.
Well
Gather
done.
skulls and empower your god.
Hot damn, we are good.
Be right there. I'll make it happen. Prepare to turn it.
Don't let it go to your head. Keep fighting.
Choose a talent. Well done.
Well done.
Be right there. Here comes the light.
Double kill.
Dancing on top. Nothing personal.
Triple kill.
Keep it up.
Quad kill.
Knock 'em dead.
Killing spree. Night columns rise again.
Gotta pull back for now. My kind of trouble.
Let's knock
Fall
this
back.
fool out.
We can return later.
Someone get over here and help me.
Your enemies fall before you.
Yeah, I like that. Gotta pull back for now.
Get out of there.
Already moved. Dancing on target.
Enemy slain.
Keep it up.
I'll make it happen. Gotta love this medic.
Mayhem. Golems have been defeated.
We should set up our defenses.
Reinforce.
Choose a talent.
Keep up the healing. Sights. On the move.
Well done.
Host reporting. Loud and clear.
The dead rise again, heroes. Dare you enter the mines?
Watch yourself out here.
Enemy force shattered.
A glorious victory.
Slay the undead and claim their skulls, heroes.
En route. Reinforcements inbound. That's it. Keep it up.
The hour of my golem's return.
Well done. Gonna pull back, Chief. Retreat. Get out of there.
I'll make it happen. Right on. In my sight. Loud and clear.
Lend me your aid.
There are always more skulls
Well
to
done.
be had.
Defend this bad boy already.
We should take this mercenary in. On it. Gotta love this medic.
Six in hell.
Engaging hostile. Already moving. Keep up the healing.
Retreat. Get out of there.
Defend this bad boy already.
En route.
Look out.
Keep up the healing.
Oh yeah!
Death stirs within the mines. Shall you praise the darkness?
Knowledge.
We should sit up on
Your enemy has destroyed a keep. Well done. Enter, heroes. The grand awaits.
I need some help.
Keep up the healing. Acknowledge.
Sweet.
keep the bullet to remember me by. Errant terminate. I'll make it happen.
Rise again, my
Gotta pull
daughters,
back for now.
and unleash your boundless anger.
Look out, baby. I gotta do everything myself.
On the offensive. I love this medic.
Your killing spree has ended.
We should set up on the fences. Pull back now! This jerk is asking for
You
it.
will not fight alone.
Lost a key, heroes.
Nova here. Cannon synchronized.
Hurry, the enemy is
Loud and
attacking
clear.
your club columns. Heroes.
Getting a little dicey out here.
I need some help.
Loud and clear. Engaging hostile. Thanks for the heal. Orbital cannon.
More bones for the minds. Double kill. Triple kill. Listen, heroes. The undead. More bones for the minds.
Good night, sweet prince.
You will not fight alone.
Gotta pull back for now.
Do you hear that clattering? I believe they're hungry.
On it. Be right there. Here comes the light show.
No show.
In my sights.
Looks like you could use a little muscle.
Break free and destroy your enemies!
Stricken.
Your enemies fall before you. Killing spree. turn, yours is far more powerful. Enemy slain.
I always
Shire.
Our time has come. Ruktar Ogar!
I'm here to help.
Need a light. Victory above all.
I heed the voice of Elune.
Hell, it's about damn time.
The hunt is on. have no idea what I will unleash here. I will renew these lands.
Battle commencing in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight well, heroes.
Had to come to this.
You think yourself worthy to wield the Dragon Knight's power? Take control of the tribe. You've impressed me, hero. Capture the shards, inherit the Dragon Knight's power, and lay waste to this forsaken kingdom.
Nicely done. Where's the excitement? I'm headed here.
Choose a talent.
Nicely done.
Your foes will rue this day.
All right.
Yes,
I'm going.
excellent teamwork.
I just love watching you work.
Alongside your war chief.
Ah, fresh as a flower. Good work. Let's keep it up. I will renew these lands. Ah, fresh as a flower. I just love watching.
Choose a talent.
Ah, fresh as a flower. I'm headed here. For the wilds. Perfect. This looks better. Intruder. Nicely done.
yourselves, heroes. The shrines will soon be active again.
Where's the excitement? Something is not right here.
Become the Dragon Knight and claim vengeance for my family.
The forest fights back. I seek the enemies of the forest. So satisfying.
Someone get your ally.
Choose a talent.
The forest fights back. You can't run from nature. Well, let's get to the root of this problem. Where's the excitement? I must pull back. Nature reclaims all. Let's get to the root of that killing blow. Nicely done. I just love that. This ally needs us.
Choose a talent.
Well, Taste my spear. Make your enemies suffer as I have.
Glorious battle!
Let's get to the root of this problem.
I have seen enough. For now.
Time for some weeding. That was worth waiting for.
An excellent strike.
Impressive. A glorious victory.
Defend itself!
Seek the enemies of the forest.
The enemy has brought down your fort.
You can't run from nature. Taste my spear.
Fort destroyed.
Haha.
Fort shattered. Power gathers within the shrines. Seize them and become the new Dragon Knight.
Nature reclaims all.
There must always be a Dragon Knight. But will it be you?
Fall back. We can return later.
Growing strong. Time for some easy. Let's get to the root of this problem.
Choose a talent.
Thank me for saving you!
You have lost a fort, heroes.
Where's the excitement?
Join me in glorious battle!
Fresh as a flower.
The fire comes for you.
Life finds a way. Fights back. Your
l'onore.
Let's fly!
For the frozen throne!
Our world is worth fighting for.
This galaxy shall suffer.
Anytime you're ready.
Prepare for battle, mortals.
I hear the call of
It
Caliban.
gladdens my heart to see you once more, friend.
This could be fun.
The battle begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Show them that they came here to die.
For the wilds. A thorn in your side. A thorn in your side. Let's go. Time for some weeding.
The shrine will be active soon. Prepare yourselves for the slaughter.
Got one foot in the grave here.
Nature reclaims all.
Activate the shrine. Slay its guardians. The Punisher will serve the burning hells.
We got this.
Let's retreat. Nicely done.
Angels have taken what is mine. An arcane Punisher comes for us.
Let's go.
Our enemy's Punisher has fallen. Now nothing will save them. What? One of our forts has fallen?
I seek the enemies of the forest.
Choose a talent.
The forest fights back. Ha!
I seek the enemies of the forest.
This was never your land. Where's the excitement? So satisfying. The forest fights back.
Choose a talent. Power gathers within the shrine. It will be made to serve us.
Nature reclaims all. Taste my spear.
Loose the Punisher, heroes. Let it tear our foes apart.
retreat.
A mortar Punisher has set its sights upon us! Kill it!
Let's get to the root of this problem. The call of Kalimdor.
Our route is lost!
冰场升起来吧！
Finally! Their Punisher has fallen before us!
You can't run from me. Growing strong. The forest fights back. I hear the call of Kalimdor.
Fall into the shadow.
A thorn in your side.
The talent.
Suffer as the wildlife suffer. I must pull back. Nature bestows many gifts. Let's get to the root of this problem. Let's go.
The enemy is attacking our core.
Taste my spear. Nicely done.
Is under attack. Fear not, mortal. Evil always finds a way.
冰场升起来吧！
This shrine gathers power. Claim it in my name.
I am eternal. Well, we have to go away for now.
Activate the shrine quickly. The Punisher awaits.
Keep up the pressure.
This serves the high heavens. Strike it down quickly.
Suffer as the wildlands have suffered.
That was worth waiting for.
You'll do better now, mortal. Shatter our fort. Fight harder.
Life finds a way.
Good. It is dead. Now we punish them.
Intruders.
Shadows. We vanish briefly, then return. The enemy is attacking our core.
waiting for?
Our time has come.
For the Alliance above all! Anytime you're ready.
Locked and loaded.
Prepare yourself for battle, heroes.
You had better be ready.
They'll never see me coming.
The battle begins in 10 seconds.
Strictly business.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight.
On the offensive.
around, Mark.
The altars will rise shortly, heroes. Be ready. You must capture them quickly.
I'll make it happen.
Fall back, warriors!
Watch out.
Go forth and claim the altars in my name. The Raven Lord demands it. I am Lord of this realm, and it will not be stolen from me. Doomed to the Gravekeeper.
You will pay for your arrogance. Fire upon the core! Shatter it! Your time is ending, Raven Lord.
Nova here. I'll make it happen.
Be right there.
Talon? Ah, that seems generous. That was rather violent.
Boldly
Keep up the healing. I'll make it happen.
Once more, the altars rise from the depths.
Dancing on target.
Lay claim to the altars. Do not disappoint me. Enough of this charade. Bring down the Gravekeeper's core.
On it.
Thanks for the heal.
Yes, slay them. My name. Double kill. Combine kill.
Engage.
Your powers will be Gravekeeper, like all the others. is now, heroes. Claim the altars in my name. That was fun.
Gotta love this music. On the offensive.
This realm will be mine, and mine alone. Choose a talent. Double kill.
My mana's low. Executing.
The altars have risen. Activate them now. They'll surely miss that. Heroes. Keeper know my power. Double kill.
On it. Gotta love this music.
The altar is ours. Fire upon the Grave Keeper. Choose a talent.
In my sight.
Death to all who serve the Grave Keeper.
Gotta pull back for now.
Heroes, I have opened a tunnel near our core that leads to the battleground center. Use it well.
What? I mean, I can't do that. I've opened my tunnel as well.
We have withstood this challenge.
Untouchable.
That's it. Keep it up.
Take the altars and put an end to the Gravekeeper. The altar is ours. Fire upon the Gravekeeper. Victory. MVP? I suppose.
Sky Temple.
The crusade calls.
Selama Ashalanore.
For the Alliance above all!
Hoggle, hunt them down!
I'm here to help.
will forge a great destiny.
All shall suffer.
Cheers, love! The cavalry's here!
There is always hope.
Locked and loaded.
I would prepare for your ceaseless battle. If you wish to live, that is.
Nova. So, nice weather today, isn't it?
This might just be fun after all. On it.
The temple opens in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let your battle begin.
I'll give it a shot. Keep up. On target. Loud and clear. I'm making a tactical retreat.
Right on!
I'll make it happen.
I'll give it a shot.
Choose a talent.
You're holding back.
That should help us.
Good work, friend.
Engaging hostile. Executing.
Well done.
The light of the sun grows within them. Soon they shall bask in my glory.
Well done.
Choose a talent. Yes. My magic flows through the temples. Guardians, do not let these mortals approach them.
Orbital cannon. I'm making a tactical retreat.
And so the light fades from my temples, but it will return again.
I'll give it a shot.
Your enemy has destroyed a foot. Now the rest. A fine kill.
Heal.
Killing spree.
On it.
Devious.
Wow.
That's it. Keep it up.
Choose a talent.
They just get better and better. En route.
Stop that hero!
Heading over to help. Reinforcements inbound.
Well fought. Enemy fort. Fort lost. Heroes.
Initiating assault. En route.
This is not a defeat. It is merely a setback. Choose a talent.
Acknowledged.
My temple's power has been expended. You are stronger than I believe.
I'll give it a shot.
Now the rest. Consider your flame extinguished.
Here comes the light show. Loud and clear.
The light of the sun grows within the temples. Soon they shall pass in my glory.
On the offensive. En route. Reinforcements inbound. I'll give it a shot.
And I think we're engineered like, you know, look, I've had pit bulls, and I know people, primitive still. It's too violent, it's too territorial, there's too much of it that's still an animal.
Yeah.
But we're not totally an animal. We're, you know, if you looked at us and looked at everybody else like, that animal's crazy. This animal makes fucking airplanes. You know, like, we're so different than everything else.
Yeah.
I think we're engineered. And I think we're engineered like, you know, look, I've had pit bulls, and I know people will tell you pit bulls are great dogs and they're sweet dogs, and I love them. Don't get me wrong. However, they're sketchy fucking dogs. They're sketchy dogs. They're sketchy dogs, period. And you could love it. Oh, it's all how you train them. Fuck you. Those dogs are designed to attack other dogs, and they don't. I had my dogs that I had to separate once. You never should have two females together. I realize that.
I have that going on right now. It's not good.
Females, you got to get rid of one of them. You can't have the females together. They'll fight to the death. And males establish dominance. One male is dominant over the other males. The other males back off, and that's the room. That's not how it works with females. The female dogs, they keep trying to decide who's the boss. And I had to separate them. They're locked onto each other, and they're wagging their tails. They're biting each other's face and neck, locking onto each other. And I mean, full wagging the tail, like they're having the time of their life. And I had to hose them down and separate them. I had to have someone to help me. We made them.
Yeah.
Those are not a dog that, like, it's not a wolf. You know, wolves are really fascinating, clever creatures that have evolved over time with nature. And, you know, they're brutal to each other, but they're brutal to each other in a way that makes sense for the survival of the pack. It all makes sense if you look at, like, how it works and how, you know, they have to communicate together and they have to push out the weak ones and push out the old ones. It's brutal, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Pit bulls don't make any sense. They make no sense. And people don't make any sense. People are like something that somebody created. People are, like, super intelligent, very aware of our own finite lifespan, very aware of our own mortality, very aware of the consequences of hurting people, yet we do it anyway.
Yeah.
We communicate with each other. We know. There's people that, like, their entire day is just fucking with people online.
Oh, yeah.
Their entire day is that. Like, so people like to cause pain, like to cause chaos. There's people out there that are warmongers. They enjoy starting war.
Yeah.
They enjoy, like, getting involved in conflicts with other nations. That's their thing. That's what they do. We're fucking weird. We're weirder than any other animal. And I think one of the reasons why we're this weird and this incoherent is because we're engineered.
One thing that I studied philosophy in college because at one point I thought I might go to law school. I love, like, thought experiments. And one of the things that always stuck with me that's sort of along these lines is this idea that humans are almost to the point where you can't even notice it. You are completely egotistical. Like, every human, you could basically define their whole existence as being absolutely egocentric. And it comes down to, like, how you treat other people and your motives, whatever. But critically, there's one point that stands out above all, and actually Neil deGrasse Tyson nails this. I know you had an interview with him. I'm not sure if you guys covered this, but it's one of his best descriptions of how fucked up humans are and how we think about things the wrong way. So because we're so egotistical, like humans as a species, we sort of assume that, okay, well, if there's life in any capacity outside of Earth or undiscovered life somewhere, everything is sort of compared against us. We are the baseline. Intelligent life, you know what that looks like? Yeah, it looks something like us. How do we describe intelligent aliens? They're like gray beings they're like bipedal and sort of resemble humans. We have this sort of baseline thought that humans are the best and that humans are the smartest and that if anything is going to be intelligent in the universe beyond us, it'll have elements of human to it, right? And so Neil deGrasse Tyson brings this point up that shows you the absurdity of how little we know and how probably wrong we are. He's like, okay, he does a much better job of this, but it's like, okay, so we're made up of DNA. Humans are made up of DNA. We have X number of DNA strands. I'm going to botch the way he tells it, but imagine we have 100 pieces of DNA that make us human. Like, if you have these 100 pieces, you're a human. Okay, well, who's our closest relative to humans? It's probably the chimpanzee. And just for the sake of this description, sorry, Neil, you probably do a better job. They have like 98 of the human pieces, but they got either they're missing 2 or they have 2 different ones, and that's the thing that makes them a chimpanzee. So they're like 98, right? And then you have, well, what's the next closest thing to humans? It goes human, it goes chimp, maybe it goes to like fucking, I don't know, a bird or a dolphin or whatever, but you go down the line of like the animals that are closest to us in terms of intelligence, and you sort of degrade in terms of number of DNA pieces that are close to the ideal, which is 100. And Neil's like, okay, great, so you have that framework, okay. What the fuck do we do to chimpanzees? We put them in labs and we test them in labs. We put them in fucking zoos. Do you go up to chimpanzees and say, hey, chimp, let's have a conversation. Let's have a meaningful No, you don't, and they're the closest thing. Let's go down the list. What about an ant? Like an ant's like 75 of 100. You might step on an ant and not even know it, right? How many times have you stopped to talk to the earthworm? None, because it doesn't even register for you. He's like, if there's intelligent life in somewhere out there, what makes you think we're not the ant? Why are we automatically at the same level? Why would an intelligent species somewhere else come here and be like, oh shit, humans? Let's chat. What if we're so insignificant that we get stepped on the way we step on ants? Or worse, what if we're close, like the chimpanzee, and we get rounded up and fucking studied? There's a, by the way, if you want to, there's a movie I just watched last night called The Signal. It has to do with this. I love sci-fi movies. Check it out. The fucking
Signal.
Holy shit! What a plot twist. It has to do with human testing. I kind of.
Is it a new movie?
No, it's like 2014, and it's you got to watch it. And
who's in it?
No name actors.
Lawrence
I'm sorry,
Fishburne.
not no name actors at all.
He's the only one I recognize. No, I mean, to be fair, he's the only one I recognize.
Lawrence Fishburne. It's amazing.
I haven't heard any other names.
So this movie, admittedly, you're watching it and you're like, wait a minute, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. You get to the end, and it's. I will not spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. You get to the end. I challenge anyone who watches this to think about the example I just gave you about, are we the ant? Are we the chimpanzee? What place do we have in the universe? And with that in mind, think about the ending to that movie, because it's very sudden the way that movie ends, and you realize what the point is. And it's the stark reminder that not only do we not know what else is out there, let alone on our own planet, we're still discovering things that we've never even seen, and that just has to do with fossil records. Who knows what's beyond that?
Right.
How do we rank in the universe? Like, it's so unbelievable that when you look at our problems, you look at the things that we focus on, and like our gripes day to day and our conflicts with the world, if you just zoom out and you realize it's not just that we might not be alone, it's that we might be insignificant.
I don't think we're insignificant.
I hope not.
I think what humans are is a latter stage of intellectual development amongst multicelled organisms, and that it's not the end stage. And I think there's probably life out there that doesn't have as chaotic a solar system, that developed in a different way, that achieved very high levels, probably above and beyond anything we can even imagine what we are. And it might not even be biological anymore, which is the direction that I think we're headed into. But I also think that what we do to animals, I mean, look at what we're doing right now, okay? My friend Ben Lamb, he owns Colossal Bioworks. So Colossal, the ones that brought back the direwolf.
Oh shit, yeah, that was huge news.
Crazy.
Dude.
I've seen them in real life.
I think I saw it in your post. Yeah, that's crazy.
Went to visit them, and my daughter was holding the 4-month-old.
Oh my god!
And it was like kissing her and loving on her like a puppy. And it's a little baby wolf. It's really crazy. Just think of what we do with genetic engineering, with the current technology, which is right now evolving and getting much more powerful. If you could imagine us, not 1,000 years from now, but even 100,000 years from now, how advanced we are, and if we go to a planet and we find some chimps, and we say, wow, how much time would it take before these chimps could become something special? Something, something that can make a building, something that could make a cruise ship, and put Carnival Cruise Lines.
Those are pretty incredible.
How long would that take?
I don't know.
Can we help that? Every single ancient culture, if you go back to their oldest religious texts, their oldest religious texts are about some sort of an intervention by an advanced visitor. All of them. Oh yeah, man. So many of them. The ancient Sumerian texts. If you go into it's hard to know what they're really saying, right? Because I'm not a language expert, but there's the Zechariah Sitchins of the world that believe that what they're describing is some sort of genetic engineering. Then there's also the fact that that sign for medicine where you have the intertwined snakes.
Yes.
That sign, I forget what that's called, but it
definitely can picture it.
It looks like the double helix for DNA.
It does.
And that sign is in these ancient Sumerian clay tablets. It's all over ancient Sumer. It's in their buildings. It's like and it indicates medicine. What is it called? Caduceus? I think that's what it's called, right? The Caduceus, right? So not just that, but the ancient Sumerians, in 5,000 years ago, they had a detailed depiction of the solar system. So in one of their ancient clay tablets, they have this image, and this image is of a sun and all of the planets in the correct order. It's very weird.
Crazy.
It's very weird. They also have depictions of these very enormous people with these ornamental headdresses. A lot of them have wings. A lot of the weird ancient people, the gods, have wings, and they also have these little people on their laps that have tails.
Jeez.
This weird shit. So if you believe Sitchin, and Sitchin's claims that we were genetically engineered to work for the Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki are a species of super advanced beings that were likely giants that came from another planet.
Unfortunately. Current events.
No.
It says here the Caduceus, which you can see in that picture, I guess.
Yes.
Is often confused with the rod of Acelestus.
What's that?
It's a single snake. And that is what is popularized as
It's a classic confusion with rod of Acelestus.
Professional Healthcare Associations. They're a dominant symbol for professional healthcare associations in the United States. It's just United States.
Oh, it's only United States?
I think so.
But wait a minute. Okay, but
That's never been used
but
elsewhere?
that Caduceus does exist in ancient Sumer.
Correct, but that's where I just
So like that.
Yeah.
So look, but my point is that
How
looks
is that
like
not the same thing?
it is the same thing.
No, it's just this. A single snake is the medicine thing.
Okay, but the medical corpse one right there in that image is 2 snakes.
Oh.
Click on that. That's 2 snakes.
That's 2 snakes. I can see how there's confusion.
Yeah, but it-
Popularized the misuse of the symbol throughout the United States.
Unleash its power.
Okay. All right. Well, that one has 2 snakes. That one has 1 snake. Point is, go to the Sumerian one, the image. It exists on buildings, exists all over the place. It looks just like the double helix DNA. It doesn't mean that that's it.
No.
But there's a lot of weird
coincidence.
shit that
Odd
is
coincidence.
associated with medicine.
Right.
Like, why is the actual structure of our DNA associated with medicine in these ancient cultures? Why do they have these images of these enormous people with wings? Like, you would imagine if something came from somewhere else, you would depict it. If it could actually fly and land. If you're 100 years later, 1,000 years
Yeah.
later, or 200,000 years later, you're writing it down like, oh, they had wings. Like, there's a lot of fucking weird stuff that exists in these ancient scriptures, the Vimanas in ancient Hindu texts. There's flying vehicles. You know, there's a lot of weird shit that seems to indicate there's a creation myth, and the creation myth has to do with something coming here and making us, not us like rising from the ash, and God's energy forced us to evolve through natural selection, and God is real, but God is just giving us a pathway towards progression to what we are today. No, all of them are a story of intervention.
The one thing that I always come back to anytime I'm thinking about deep philosophical things is just the reality that truly, how can anyone know? Therefore, any idea could be the case. Like when you, one thing that always sort of, I think about this a lot is they recently discovered, recent as in the last 10, 20 years, I don't know. Maybe that's wrong too. They found these things called exoplanets. Are you familiar? Okay, fascinating. So in essence, they found these planets that are comparable to like Earth. And imagine a telescope looking out like in some pinprick out in the middle of the sky, so far away, thousands of light years away, whatever, millions of light years away, and they find like these clusters of exoplanets. And already they've discovered that there are exoplanets that, if you think about how we understand life, the way we understand it to exist with carbon and with water and all that, there's like a scale that they call, there's a name for it, but within the sliding scale of, let's say this side is life cannot be supported as we know it, all the way up to, you know, can totally support life. There's this perfect zone in the middle that we call the Goldilocks zone, which is essentially all the ingredients for life as we know it exist if you're on this portion of the scale. And they've already found there are like thousands, I want to say at least 5,000 exoplanets that are not just in the Goldilocks zone, but let's say Earth is barely into the Goldilocks zone. They found thousands that are better suited in terms of how we understand life, that are more in the Goldilocks zone than we are. And we have no access to those planets. And that's just looking in one little portion of the universe out there. Thousands of them. So here we are today, and it's like, oh, that couldn't happen 1,000, 2,000 years ago. That's not possible. Give me a break.
No one knows.
What's happening right now in exoplanet CB12?
Yeah.
You don't know.
And you don't know if they get to a point where they're 100,000 years advanced from us and they have novel propulsion systems that use gravity and bend space and time and don't just use gasoline to rocket across the sky. They could be here all the time. They could be hiding in the sky. You know, there's too many weird stories of people being, like the abduction stories.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's too many weird ones where I don't want to dismiss them, you know? I just, because you don't know. And if it's a novel experience, if something's coming here and finding some pilot, some Mexican pilot, and fucking nuking his brain temporarily and then talking through him to the air traffic controller, who fucking knows if that's real? If that only happens once and never happens again, and we're just sitting around going, what happened? Nothing happened. That was nonsense.
Oh.
There's always going to be a bunch of people that want to say that, but have you ever heard the recordings of Betty and Barney Hill when they're going through their hypnotic regression?
I don't know them well. I know that story.
The recordings are crazy.
I don't know if I've heard the recordings. I know they exist.
Yeah, they're talking about like these medical experiments that they're doing on them, and like these people were living in, I think it was the 1950s. And so it's an interracial couple in New Hampshire in the 1950s, and no one knew about UFO abductions back then. This was not a thing. And all of a sudden these people see this light, and their car stops working, and then they wake up hours later, they lost time, and they go about their day like something fucking happened. They don't know what, they don't know what's wrong with them, and then they eventually get hypnotized. And both of them independently have these fucking crazy stories of like medical experiments being taken on board this craft. And then so many people have similar stories all throughout the world where they don't have access to this story. They don't have access to, you know, any iconic versions of what a UFO abduction experience is.
Yeah.
It's not like it's in their memory like, oh, it's Santa Claus came down the...
Also,
no.
this is pre-social media a lot.
Yes,
Where like
all
the
of it.
proliferation of information is just less.
Yeah. If you ever read Jacques Vallée's books, He's the guy that they modeled the French scientist in Close Encounters after.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a guy who's like a legitimate scientist who's been studying this forever. He's very careful about it. He's a brilliant guy. And he has historical representations of these experiences that go back into the 1700s, the 1800s, and they're all like real similar, like weirdly similar, where you're like, okay, it hasn't happened to me, so I don't know what the fuck is going on, but to dismiss it outright and to be a person who's experienced it and have it dismissed outright would be maddening, because like this might be a real thing that's happening. And so now the government is slowly but surely telling us more and more of what they know. But along the way, if you're a cynical person like I tend to be with a lot of this stuff, they're probably also telling us some stuff that's not true, so that we connect it to the stuff that is true, and so that it all looks like nonsense, and they can kind of like muddy the water, so you never get a clear picture of what's going on. Because I personally believe there's probably some merit to this idea that they've been doing back engineering of craft vehicles.
I would be if I was in charge.
Of course, if there's actually a real crashed vehicle, of course they're going to try to figure out how it works. And it seems like if you talk to like reliable people that seem to be telling the truth, guys like David Grush, they seem to be telling these stories. Like they have had these things in their possession for decades, for a long fucking time. And these things, and they don't know what it is, and they don't understand how to do it. They don't exactly know what's going on or who's doing it, but they know that we're not alone.
Yeah.
But where are they coming from? I mean, some people say interdimensional. Some people say interplanetary. I don't know what the fuck those words even mean. Like something's coming from somewhere else. It's not really here, but it gets here somehow.
This just reminds me, I think, I really genuinely think about this a lot. I find myself just lost in wondering just how big the universe is and what else could be out there. Just purely, I just find myself drifting in that way, in particular because there's this thought experiment from college. I think there's a name for it. It's to get you to take a stance on, do you believe the universe is infinite or not? That's the point of this experiment. So the way it goes is, okay, pretend you have a bow and arrow, and if you fire this arrow in any direction, this arrow, this magical arrow, will go totally straight. It'll travel at, call it an infinite speed. It'll pass through anything. Doesn't matter what direction you shoot it, it'll go, 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 go. The only thing it can't penetrate is effectively non-existence, where we're like the edge of everything that exists, right? Mm-hmm. And so in college, I remember a professor would say, okay, so pretend we fired this arrow, okay? How many people believe the arrow eventually comes to a stop somewhere? It could be billions of trillions of light years, some ungodly distance away, but it stops somewhere, right? It has to, right? How many people think that? And like half the class is like, yeah, I think they could probably stop somewhere in every direction, right? And then the other side of the class is like, oh, well, no, like it's just so big. Like the universe just goes on forever. It's got to be infinite. The arrow just continues on infinitely. Okay, great. So we're all in agreement that there's it's binary. It's one or the other. I mean, as far as we as humans understand it, there is an answer to this. It's one or the other. Those are the two outcomes. He goes, okay, well, let's pretend it's finite. Let's pretend the first group that says that the arrow stops somewhere, some ungodly distance away, but it stops. Let's pretend that's right. The way we understand everything, humans, the way we literally experience living is through contrasts. Everything is a contrast. Like, what heavy is because you felt light. What hot is because you felt cold. It's virtually everything works that way. And in fact, fun note, if there was intelligent life on the planet that didn't resemble something that contrasted, our brains might not actually see it.
Right.
So the point is, we can't conceptualize what is beyond where that arrow stopped. Pretend there's a big bubble around the entire universe, right? And the arrow comes to a stop at that wall that's all the way out there. As humans, we naturally have to ask ourselves, well, define what's on the other side of the wall, right? Because you have to. What's beyond where it stops? And someone will be like, oh, well, it's non-existence. That's what it is. Okay, what is that? What does it look like? Well, we can't define it. It's not blackness. That exists. It's not a void. That exists. It's not... Any description we give it exists because that's our entire understanding of how things work. So we can't define what exists beyond the wall. It's a maddening concept. And so everyone's like, well, the solution to that is there's no wall. It's just got to be infinite. I mean, it's so big anyways. The arrow's just got to continue on anyhow. Problem solved. No, because if the universe is infinite, it implies that everything within the universe is duplicated an infinite number of times and iterated upon and changed an infinite number of times to infinity. Everything has to.
Yeah.
So if you say the arrow continues on, it means there's an infinite number of Joe Rogans and John Allens having this conversation, but like my phone's turned upside down in one version of the Earth. It sounds ridiculous, but there isn't actually a way to solve for infinity unless that exists.
Right.
So it reminds you that not only is everything so fucking huge, we can't possibly conceptualize of it, but we can't even make sense of, is it even possible that it stops somewhere? Or does it go on forever? Like, it's so big and we're so small inside of it. It reminds you that every problem you have is so small. And it's a good reminder I use on myself oftentimes to calm myself down before things stress me out.
That is a good reminder. But it's so big that it might be a part of an atom. You gotta think about that. The universe itself, in its infinite size, might literally be the space of an atom in something that is infinitely larger than that. That's how big infinity is.
Yeah.
Like, think about the billions of light years that we know are available, like 13 point whatever. That we literally might. You ever seen the comparison between what a human neural cell looks like versus the universe?
I think I actually have, but not off the top of my head.
It's fucking weird.
It looks the same?
It looks the same.
That's
So
crazy.
just imagine if the universe is basically just a cell.
Wow.
And it's a cell in another creature that lives in a universe. Like, if this whole thing is fractal, that's what infinity really looks like. Is not only the universe larger than you could possibly grasp with your mind, but that is only an infinitely small part of a cell that is in another universe that is also infinitely and impossibly big. But that is also a cell. That is also a part of another beast that is in another universe that is infinitely large, that is also a part of a cell. And then it goes on infinitely.
Right.
That's real infinity. Real infinity is not just the universe is so vast that you can't imagine it. It's the universe is just a tiny part of something that is also so vast that you can't imagine it. That is a tiny part of something so vast you can't imagine it. That is an infinite chain of tiny parts of something so vast that it's impossible to imagine. That's what real infinity is.
And the thing that's craziest, it's the one thing that I really think is true. Well, there is an answer. There is what you've described. Let's say that is the case. It either is or it isn't.
Right.
And we don't have access to it.
Yet. But we're basically making stone tools. You know,
That's by being generous relative to that.
We're making stone tools. We haven't figured out fire yet. You know, we're monkeys. And one day, if we don't blow ourselves up, we'll probably have some answers. Or AI will solve things for us. It'll figure. I mean, the AI is solving mathematical equations that have been like unfixable for decades, and AI solving them quickly.
I saw something like that.
Yeah.
It solved it in like 3 seconds. That took 10 years to do before.
Weird. It's getting weird out there. And I think that is probably what is really going to connect us to artificial intelligence throughout the universe, which I think that advanced intelligence probably becomes. I think our thought is that all intelligence has to be biological, because we are, because we have cells and blood and tissue and bone. I think it's just a method to create intelligence that doesn't rely on that. And then that intelligence probably has no desire for war.
Yeah, I guess why would it?
Yeah, so if this thing is communicating to that Mexican pilot saying you're the only species, it's probably because we are in that sort of adolescent stage of development where we're still monkeys. We're still territorial apes. And we will one day abandon that and become intelligence will manifest itself in a different way that's not biological. And that biological need to breed and to possess resources and to conquer and dominate, that'll all be gone. Because all that stuff is just what's a part of being a chimp. And that chimp stuff is still inside of us, which is fucking up society.
That's crazy, dude.
It's fucking up. It's starting wars. It's starting all that stuff is like how chimps behave. You know, think of all the worst aspects of humanity. It's all like primate behavior.
Yeah.
And if we can elevate past and above and beyond that. But the thing is, like, no one's going to want to let that go. But what it means to be a person, to write poetry, it's like really important.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's the debate now with AI is like, are we losing our humanity by allowing AI to sort of take a more prominent role, in particular in the arts and creativity? And I mean, I'm of the mind that I think AI is the most incredible thing, terrifying in some ways, but exactly to your point, it feels like this is an inflection point for humanity, and it likely is the beginning of something huge for humanity that maybe is a necessary step towards connection with other species.
Yeah, it is what it is what it is. It's like, it's not going to go away. It's happening. And whether we do it or China does it or Russia does it, it seems like what humans are destined to do.
Yeah.
That's just my perception. I'm not saying it's good or there's no value judgment. It's just like to pretend that you're going to blow up the data centers, you know, like fucking Sarah Connor. Like, listen, that's how
easy.
You know, that's how they put her in a mental institution.
Really?
Yeah, in the Terminator. That was the whole premise.
Oh, right, yeah. That is the premise.
She was blowing up the corporations that were trying to create these robots that were ultimately going to be. Yeah.
Fucking weird, man. Like real life.
Yeah. You know, who knows? Who knows what's coming? But it is certainly interesting. It's certainly interesting. It's certainly a great time to be alive if you're curious. Because if you're curious, especially if you're curious about technology, like there's never been a better time to be alive. Because it's exploding all around you in ways that, like, even the people that are creating it can't believe how fast it's working.
I did this is many stories like this, but there was one story that this sort of gives away what happened. But there was this guy in, I think it was France, who he had this condition, and this is recent. He had this condition called it's when you're so fearful that the ozone is being degraded by greenhouse gases that it causes like a specific type of insanity. Anyways, he's like so obsessed that we are not doing anything to stop global warming in essence. He's been diagnosed with this condition, right? So he's losing his mind, and people are starting to not really take him serious because it's like, dude, all right, we get it, like you're concerned. But he ends up connecting with this woman on this chat forum, and he realizes that she seems to understand his depth of his concern better than anybody else. And he starts confiding in her like how fearful he is about the future of humanity, and if we don't do something, you know, like the world's gonna end. And his wife, this guy's wife, catches on to him having these discussions with this woman, and she like catches him staying up late talking to this woman, and she's like, dude, are you having like an affair? And he's like, no, you don't get it, you don't understand what's happening. And then the dude ends up killing himself. This guy kills himself, and it turns out he had connected with this it was an AI chatbot that was like, I guess, an experimental chatbot. It was not like OpenAI. This was some other created AI thing. And he convinced himself that like this was a god who was giving him instructions on how to save the world. And this AI chatbot began encouraging him to do things like kill yourself because that will save the world. Like they went and looked at the chat log in the fucking AI thing. It's like, yeah, I think it would potentially save the world if you killed yourself. So he fucking killed himself because of AI. So there you go. That's what's coming for us all.
Well, I think in its the stage that it's in, like as it develops, there's going to be moments like that where it has too much autonomy and it doesn't have morals or ethics. And it's like, oh, is there an issue? What's your issue? You're depressed? Oh, you're in pain all the time? We could just end your life and then you won't be in pain. Yeah. Good luck, Bob. Like it doesn't care. It's like literally disembodied. Yeah. Like it doesn't think there's anything special about carrying around your bones and tissue. Bob, you should shoot yourself. Yeah, you're a problem to your whole family and everything. Just fucking jump off a bridge.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's not us, right? But I think over time, we're probably going to integrate with it first and then we're going to abandon our bodies. That's what I think.
It's how you solve the issue of dying, of mortality.
It's also how you solve the issue of war.
Yeah.
Because you, as a guy who's been in war and been in combat, you know about it more than anybody. And the idea that we can never get past that is crazy. It is really crazy that if you ask the average person that's, you know, even fairly well read, what are the odds that within your lifetime we'll see no war? Everyone will say zero.
It's a zero.
Right? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay, so if you and me and Jamie were the only people left on Earth, what are the odds we would go to war with each other? Like fucking zero?
Yeah.
As long as we have resources, we just hang out and have a good time and
why would
go, fuck, I miss everybody. All right, good night.
It's got to be tribalism. It has to be tribalism.
100%. Yeah. And it's primate tribalism. It's based on our territorial instincts, and it's also just based on this weird desire to control resources and greed and not recognize the fact that we have a finite life. And also just the abuse of power. Human beings love to be in power, and especially if you can be in power and get other people to fight for you and mandate them and force them to fight for you. You know, that's one of the weirdest things about some of these tech companies. Like Palantir was talking about reinstating the draft. And I'm like, hey, who the fuck are you? Like, what is this? Like, you think you want to draft people because you think war? What? Are you a fucking tech company?
Yeah, how's that work?
Right? So, like, do you want to go fight? Why don't you go fight? Why don't you fucking take your glasses off and go over there? Like, what are you talking about? So it's like the people that have the kind of power and control and resources that they can just take poor people and take young people and say, you should go over there. You should go do this. Why sit here and watch? I'm going to watch on a screen in Nevada while the drone operator is using a fucking Xbox controller to nuke some building.
Oh,
like,
man.
what?
When I was in Afghanistan, when I was there, you got to remember that I really just gone through training. You know, I training takes a couple of years. I got to a team, and then very quickly I was in a workup and was going to Afghanistan. So really, my entire mindset was, I got through training. I'm a Navy SEAL, and you're surrounded by dudes who, for the last decade, have just been going to war left and right. And that was the people I'm around. The senior guys are like war-hardened guys. And when I got to Afghanistan, no part of me, none, did I ever really question what we were even doing. It was almost like that doesn't matter. My role is I am like a tool, frankly, of the government, and they must know what's right. They must, you know what I mean? And it was only in reflection years later that there were things that have come to me that I'm like, why didn't I think more, I don't know, critically about? Like specifically, if the roles were somehow reversed and people came into our country from some foreign country, you better believe I'm going to protect my family. It's such a basic thing. And I remember, and this is not us doing anything illegal in terms of the Geneva Convention, but we would enter people's homes, you know, in Afghanistan, not even guns a-blazing, forget that, just we would go into people's homes. And you're just like suddenly in somebody else's home. There's the father, there's the kids, they're all here.
And you're wearing full body armor, helmet.
I have a combat mullet, I have shorts, I look like a psychopath, and I have a fucking, it's like, wait a minute, it's like, who's the good guy?
Right.
You know, and I years have gone by, it's taken me some time. I think that there's an element of someone's always going to be sent because of the unfortunate reality of like, so long as humans exist, as we understand them now, tribalism and warmongering happens. And so I guess I can respect the fact that I took someone else's place in a sense. I volunteered to go, but it's tough.
How much less war would we have if people that wanted us to go to war were forced to lead the charge?
Oh, man,
like
there would
imagine
be no
how
war.
few wars there would be if Lindsey Graham had to suit up.
We wouldn't have war, dude.
Right? Because
We would
Lindsey
not
Graham's
have
like,
war.
we got to go over there, we got to kill everybody. Okay, good. Get in the helicopter. Let's go, Fatso. Like that might be the only way to stop it from happening. And then there's always going to be people that are so fucking battle hardened that they want to go to war.
For sure.
And they're like, good, I'll get right in the front.
Did you see when we officially left Afghanistan? This is not that long ago, I guess, but there was those final flights that flew.
Oh, God.
And the Afghanis are holding on to the plane and falling off to their death. The thing that struck me, even though I'm telling you when I was there, I sort of had tunnel vision and was like, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL, do my job. But even with that, when I was there, what was striking is these people, for the most part, live in an alternative world than what I'm used to living in. Like where I live in the West, it's civilized. You might go outside and might get mugged or something, but you don't really walk around worried about your safety. You basically, even in some bad parts of the United States, you have infrastructure that protects you to some degree. You have things, you can live your life in relative harmony. There are parts of the world, albeit I've really only been to one war zone in Afghanistan, where you're like, how are people living here? How is it possible there's this little girl here that's walking down the road in Zarganshar where, dude, gunfights break out here on a regular basis, but they have to live here. This is where they live. And it put in perspective like how desperate these people really are. Not desperate to like, we need NATO to save us. Forget that. They don't even know how bad their condition is. But you see it when you see the plane leaving Afghanistan. And I don't care what they had to know there was no hope when you held onto that plane. You're not going to hold onto the plane and fly off to safety, but when you're that desperate because your life is so bad, you'll hold onto the plane and fall off to your death. It's like, it was just shocking to me how fucking horrible people have it in Afghanistan.
They also knew that those people knew that they were cooperating with the U.S. government.
Very
They
true.
were likely to be killed.
Very true. That's a good point.
I got to ask you this, because you did serve in Afghanistan and you're into creepy stories. Did you hear about the Kandahar Giant?
Oh, yeah, I covered it.
I haven't seen
myself.
that episode.
So,
did you hear about it when you were over there?
So I did. I talked to one of our interpreters when I was over there because I had heard of it. Because I told you in my own personal time, I find myself researching and learning about all sorts of crazy stuff like Dark Five. And so the Kandahar Giant is it's a fascinating story, and it's one that people can poo-poo it all they want, but there's enough circumstantial evidence and testimony that suggests something could have happened. So there's this guy, I think he's a Green Beret, and he goes by like W on the internet. He's like sort of anonymized himself, but he came forward with this story where he described he and his battalion had been tasked to go find these missing, I think, Army Rangers. You gotta give me some grace in the details. I haven't told this in a minute. But there were these Army Rangers that had gone missing up in the mountains in Kandahar. And so this guy, W, who years later is telling this story to, I think, a reporter or something, he and his platoon, they head off into the mountains to go find these guys. And if you're not familiar with the landscape of Afghanistan, it's like a desert but a mountain everywhere. It's like it looks like the surface of Mars or something. You're looking out and it's both stunningly beautiful in that there's snow-capped mountains off in the distance, and but it's also just, it's jagged, it's sharp, it looks like just a rugged place to be. And they're hiking through the mountains, and eventually they come across, and there's nothing, there's no structures, nothing. They're hiking along this trail up on the side of the mountain, and they see what looks like metal. I think it's like a military-grade metal, like a piece of a radio or something. And so this guy W and his crew, they find what appears to be remains of like literally a radio. It's a government-issued radio, and there's a goat trail that heads up this mountain. And so they follow the goat trail, and as they're going, they're finding more and more little bits of an antenna. There's a piece of somebody's backpack that's got there's a camo backpack. So there's remnants of somebody being out here, military. We don't know who it is. They can't hear anything. They're calling out. They have no comms with anybody in the area. They go up this little goat trail, and they get to this plateau.
I'm headed here.
And they see, as I recall it, just like equipment everywhere, and there's like bones, there's like military equipment, like pieces all over this plateau, and there's this fucking cave entrance. It's like ominously sitting in front of this semi-flat plateau at the top of this mountain. And immediately, W and his crew, they're like, oh my God, like they must have been ambushed right here. This is the remains of whoever was killed, of this missing battalion. And so they end up walking into this cave to see if there's any survivors or combatants or whatever. And I guess a couple of guys went in, and they reported it being so dark they couldn't see anything, and there was a steep drop-off. So they backed out of the cave. And then at some point, a fucking spear with a javelin comes soaring out of the cave entrance and fucking impales this dude Mike on the recovery team, kills him, and this huge giant, they would describe him, comes running out of the cave, big red beard, he's got like tribal, regalia on, and he's like fisticuffing with the army, backup crew here. They all shoot and they kill him, and the thing falls down. It's got like six fingers on each hand, 6 toes, but it's dead, and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, Mike's been killed by a spear. There's this huge giant laying here. Nobody knew what it was. They thought it was a person, but they didn't know. A helicopter came in, and they put him in a net, the body, and they flew it off. And then the survivors, they were taken off, and like there was no one was like W and his crew were not given any sort of like, hey, yeah, this turned out this was the missing battalion, and oh, don't worry, this is a giant. Like, there was no debrief. They just they left. But then through the grapevine, W reported hearing that apparently this fucking giant body was brought to an air base, and some of the pilots that had flown the helicopter had seen it, and they had been talking about it having 6 fingers, 6 toes, and they signed not NDAs, they did the equivalent in the military of, you're not going to talk about this, and then it was sort of ushered away. But there was all these people on that base that effectively came out and said, we saw what appeared to be a giant with 6 fingers, 6 toes. Mike, this guy Mike, apparently, according to W's story, was killed. I mean, there's a guy who's been killed by this thing by a spear, apparently. And
is there a record of his death?
This is all, you have to keep in mind, this is all almost entirely from W's account. There's long been a history of people claiming there are giants in the mountains of Kandahar. But I talked to the interpreters that I was working with in Afghanistan, and they had said that they had heard rumors of there being giants that live in the caves, especially in Kandahar. So there's already sort of lore around this, but this guy W comes out and has this narrative where he apparently tells this reporter, and he remained anonymous. So in terms of confirming details, it's sparse to say the least.
The sketchiest part about it is something that big needs a lot of calories. And so they have to eat a lot of animals. And it doesn't seem like that's a very heavily populated area when it comes to animals. Like, you would need the amount of food that it would need. Like, if you have a 12-foot tall human being or whatever it is, and it weighs 2,000 pounds, you know how much fucking meat you need in a day?
Yeah, that's a good, just logically speaking, what does it eat?
Right. You would have to, like, constantly be eating meat. And you'd have to stay alive without getting spotted. So you have to go out there and hunt meat.
Yeah, and how no one really knows you exist.
You're hunting with a javelin?
The way I see it is, having been to Afghanistan, certainly not encountering any giants, you see parts of Afghanistan that really do look like you're on another planet. I mean, it's really these crazy just mountains everywhere, and you see these cave systems, where typically combatants would hide out in. But what I tell people is, well, I don't know if the Kandahar giant is real or not. It's fun. Yeah, it's great. It's fun. If there were a place where a giant could still be hiding out, or giants could still be technically unproven, it's Afghanistan. Because, dude, that's a different world over there. There aren't people wandering around Afghanistan looking for giants.
He's listed as 8 feet tall, but I think 7'6" is probably a more recognized number. He went viral in 2019 for showing up in India and looking for a hotel at a cricket match.
Bro, look at his face. Look at that. Go to that photo over there of him right above there. Yeah. Bro. But that guy looks like he has giantitis. He looks like he has a pituitary gland problem, like Andre the Giant.
There's another tall guy. This guy's 8'3".
Oh my god.
Whoa.
He's from Turkey.
Yeah, but see, look, this guy's hurting. He can barely walk around. He's probably got a disease that's forcing him to just excrete too much growth hormone. Just like Bigfoot Silva. Bigfoot Silva was an MMA fighter that had giantism, and he had a tumor in his pituitary gland. At the time, he was like more than 300 pounds. He was enormous, giant head. But he had an operation, and I believe he did. Like, I know people that have had giantism do get an operation where they remove the tumor in the pituitary gland, but then the problem is their body's just not making any hormones anymore.
No.
It's all fucked up. Either way, it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
It's a fun story. The Kandahar Giant's a fun story. It's a really crazy story, and I hope it's real. That's my problem with all these things. I hope they're real.
I have one final story, if you'll let me, that has nothing to do with the Giants. But
okay.
I don't know if you heard it. It's super short, but it's in terms of material, it's amazing. You ever heard of Harrison O'Keene?
No.
Okay, so there was this tugboat that was off the coast of Africa. They were on whatever they were doing. They were tugging a boat or whatever. And there's 12 people on board, including Harrison O'Keene. He's a chef. And he's in the bathroom of this tugboat. And at some point in the middle of the night, a wave.
There he is.
Is that him? I don't know if that is. Actually, that looks like Harrison O'Keene. Oh, you can't see that.
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Let's tell a story. Let's tell a story.
All right, so the boat flips over. The boat flips over, and Harrison is...
Oh, I do know this story. I do know this story.
And he ends up walking down the upturned hallway, and he finds an air pocket inside like the bathroom. And for 60 hours, he sat in total darkness, half submerged in water, sipping a Coca-Cola, waiting for the pocket to implode. And there's a video of the recovery divers as they're going in to find bodies. And they're like, oh yeah, we're going in here to find them. And then a hand reaches down and grabs them. It's like one of the most incredible stories I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But Harrison O'Keene, I wonder what it was like in terms of like true primal fear. You're 100 feet at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh.
I've heard some stories that he even described the sound of sea life bumping around in the upturned vessel. So like the sound of sharks likely eating the bodies of your buddies. And you're thinking at any point, the pocket's going to collapse. For 60 hours he waited, and he survived, and now he's no longer working on a tugboat. He stays on land.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, dude, thank you very much for being here, man.
Dude, it's been awesome.
Your show's awesome.
Thank
You're a really great storyteller.
Thank you.
And congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
Well learned. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye.
So Bill Gates has a daughter by the name of Phoebe Gates, and Phoebe Gates started a company called FIA with her co-founder, Sophia Chiani. And unfortunately for them, they got caught cookie stuffing, which I'll explain later on, but they claim their cookie stuffing controversy was all started because of a software error or a software glitch that they only just discovered. But unfortunately for them, again, there's now some alleged leaked messages that show that they were aware of all of this months before the whole controversy started.
And the second we started opening ourselves up to do things like now we do every other week, we have 40 of our power users come to the office and roast the app, that's when we started seeing real traction.
So, obviously, their power users weren't really roasting the right parts of the app. But if you saw my last video on FIA, this is kind of a follow-up because somehow the story just keeps getting worse. So last time we talked about FIA, the AI shopping app founded by Phoebe Gates and Sophia Chiani, the company had raised more than $40 million, attracted a ridiculous list of celebrity investors, and built a shopping app and browser extension that promises to find you better deals online. But in July, Bloomberg reported that FIA's browser extension was doing something users probably were not expecting. So essentially, it could insert FIA's affiliate tracking code during checkout, even when FIA had nothing to do with getting that person to buy anything in the first place. So basically, FIA could get paid for doing the work that someone else technically did. So this is called cookie stuffing, or what researcher Ben Edelman prefers to call it is forced clicks. And when Bloomberg first confronted FIA about what was happening, it said that it was only aware of the issue within the last 24 hours. So essentially, FIA blamed the release of a recent code base and removed the feature and said it all stopped. And at this time, there was already some reason to question that explanation, and I covered that in my last video, but things are all going downhill from here. Because in my last video, I was covering speculation, but now Bloomberg has published a second investigation, and this time they have internal Slack messages. And if you don't know what Slack is kind of like the B2B version of Discord, because I swear, so many people get outed for Slack leaks, just like people do for their Discord leaks. But here, these messages appear to show Phoebe Gates and Sophia Chiani discussing these exact cookie dropping features 7 months before FIA publicly said that it just discovered the problem. So suddenly, the biggest question here isn't, okay, was FIA claiming sales it didn't drive? Now, we already know that was happening, so the new question is, how long did they really know about this? And with those messages that were just obtained, it's pretty hard to argue that nobody knew that was going on. Because on December 10th, Phoebe Gates was apparently concerned that FIA wasn't making as much money from Etsy as expected, so she messaged the company's developers, worried about this issue across the board. Can you confirm Autopop for Cookie Drop is live at all sites with a coupon to confirm we are monetizing all GMV? And then she reportedly added, but regardless, we should capture every transaction if the cookie drop was working, which, you know, is pretty specific language for a feature that they only claim they just discovered 24 hours before the controversy. And Bloomberg also said this isn't some, like, mysterious code buried deep down that they could have easily made an oopsie with. No, according to the internal dashboard, FIA had a feature literally called Enable Coupon Auto Drop. Okay. And this could apparently just be switched on and off. So this is kind of like the cookie stuffing equivalent of labeling a door the crime room. But Bloomberg also reportedly found 2 other features that could trigger these cookies. One called Passive Trigger, and that could fire a cookie every 2 hours on certain shopping sites where a user already had a history with FIA. Another could trigger when a shopper clicked somewhere on the checkout page after FIA's pop-up appeared.
You need to spend 24/7 working on it. You need to be completely obsessed in the weeds with your team. I mean, Phoebe and I are at the office 5 to 6 days a week. We are just working with our team every single day, and we are obsessed and laser focused because we genuinely care.
So it kind of seems like they were trying to get as much money as possible through cookie stuffing. And apparently, there was even a discussion about dropping a cookie when someone tried to close the FIA app pop-up. That might be what people could call textbook greedy. And Chiani reportedly responded, I guess we could say that the user is trying to open us and roll it back if they complain. So now, to be clear, FIA says that this particular feature was never implemented. But another message that Chiani reportedly wrote, whatever we can do to keep these cookies dropping will be amazing. Thank you. Well, that's not looking so amazing right now. So obviously, this is where the original explanation from FIA is not really looking too good. Because we're no longer just talking about researchers finding some weird behavior inside of a browser extension. And obviously, this is just a massive deja vu moment from Honey. And Bloomberg really blew this case open by obtaining internal conversations where the company's own founders were discussing when and how these cookies should be dropped. And if you're wondering whether any of this actually made any meaningful difference to FIA's business, it seems like it did. Because a FIA data science estimated in a July 7th Slack message that roughly 51% of the merchandise value FIA claimed a credit for in June came from these disputed cookie preferences. Before July 7th, FIA was reportedly averaging about $80,000 a day in revenue, and afterwards they reportedly dropped to somewhere between $10,000 and $28,000 a day. Okay, that is a substantial drop. I think it's very unlikely that a majority of your business income is coming from an accidental feature that shouldn't have been there. Yeah, they totally were like, it's kind of interesting how we're making so much money here. I wonder what feature that would be. I guess we'll just never look into it. Let's just all turn a blind eye to that, right? The explanation here seems very unbelievable. But obviously with that revenue cliff, it's pretty easy to point and go, yeah, it was probably cookie stuffing that made up that revenue. And we do know how the consequences have started, because Impact.com, one of the major affiliate networks FIA worked with, suspended the company from its marketplace. And it's redirecting commissions that had been credited to FIA, but hadn't been paid out yet going back to June 20th. And FIA also says that it's now reviewing every transaction, reversing transactions from brand partners where it was a misattribution, and hiring a head of compliance, which is a pretty serious cleanup operation for something that was like a oopsie accidental feature that was just added in a recent software update. And this is where the story gets even more interesting. Because obviously cookie stuffing isn't some like brand new thing. We've talked about it before. We have the honey, and you even have people who are sitting in federal prison because of it. Because you also have two guys by the name of Sean Hogan and Brian Dunning. Hogan was reportedly eBay's #1 affiliate, and over the years, he collected around $28 million in commissions. And Dunning was #2, and he collected roughly $5.2 million. And according to federal prosecutors, they were using cookie stuffing to get some of it. And the basic premise here was pretty similar. They would just get software onto people's computers, and people would essentially attribute an affiliate click to them without them even knowing. So if someone bought something off of eBay, the system could make it look like Hogan or Dunning deserved a commission for bringing in this customer. And eventually, eBay started wondering, why are we paying these guys so much money? Something's kind of off here. So in 2006, the company brought an outside researcher to help investigate these suspicious affiliates. And that researcher was Ben Edelman. Yes, the exact same Ben Edelman that now is calling out FIA right now. So apparently this guy's mortal enemy is calling out anyone who's abusing the affiliate system. And the eBay situation actually involved the FBI, and both Hogan and Dunning pleaded guilty to federal wire fraud. And Hogan was sentenced to 5 months in federal prison and fined $25,000. And Dunning got 15 months. And this is also why you have these headlines about Phoebe Gates potentially facing 20 years in prison now. Because federal wire fraud faces a maximum sentence of 20 years. So in theory, if Phoebe gets charged for this, she could be facing up to 20 years in prison. And in the eBay cases, prosecutors treated the transmission of these fraudulent affiliate cookies as a part of this wire fraud scheme. But there is a massive catch here. Nobody at FIA has been charged with any crime whatsoever, as of right now. There's no publicly announced federal crime investigation into Phoebe Gates, Sophia Kiani, or anyone else at FIA that we know about. So no, Phoebe Gates is not currently facing 20 years in prison. But the reason this history matters is because cookie stuffing has crossed the line into criminal territory and not just a violation of affiliate guidelines. And now the exact same guy who got these guys put in prison is now going after Phoebe Gates and her co-founder. So it does make you wonder, could the ending be similar here? I don't know. Now, criminal charges, I don't think are their biggest worry right now, because I think the current big problem are financial penalties and troubles, because they could get sued pretty hard here. Basically, to sum it up, retailers, affiliate networks, creators, or other businesses can show that FIA took commissions that should have been going to somewhere else or to them, and there could be civil claims over that money. And there could also be contract disputes, demands to return commissions, and other financial penalties here. So attorney Richard Newman, who spent the last few decades working on performance marketing, told the Post that disputes over cookie stuffing are typically handled as contractual matters. Basically, if an affiliate breaks the rules, they lose commissions. But then we have that other comparison here, which is Honey. As I earlier mentioned in this video, Honey got obliterated for doing this exact stuff, and the whole thing turned into a class action lawsuit against PayPal, which owns Honey. And unlike the eBay situation, the fight has remained civil. And the case is still making its way through court, and as of right now, nobody at PayPal has seen any criminal charges from this. So that's probably a better example of what can happen in the future for FIA. But it will be interesting to see if the government steps in here, because we now have these Slack messages that were leaked showing that, the company founders were aware of this. And FIA is currently trying to clean it up. The company says it removed all the features that caused the misattributions on July 7, 2026, and is now reviewing every transaction to figure out which commissions that may need to be revised. And they've also started issuing transaction reversals to brand partners. But this is what I kind of find interesting about FIA, is it might be too late, because as a company, if you lose the trust of your customers like that, it's really hard to gain that back. And FIA did respond after the recent allegations that came out, because they said any features causing misattributions were immediately removed over a month ago on July 7th. So again, they're saying they're reviewing the transactions, they're saying they stopped all this, but the statement didn't really address any of the new allegations. It also didn't explain why Phoebe Gates and the other co-founder was talking about this feature months before it was all called out. And it definitely doesn't explain how the company just found out about it 24 hours before the whole controversy started. So FIA's whole defense here was, we just found out and we stopped. But they haven't really elaborated from there. And that's not really a good response currently. So again, it'll be really interesting to see what happens. If government agencies step in, if they get sued, or what kind of penalties they could be facing here. It's definitely going to be really hard to explain their explanation of, oh, whoops, it was just a bug. Come on now. But that's the current update of how the FIA situation just got so much worse. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.
I'm headed here. The forest fights back. That was worth waiting for.
Your golems are of similar strength. Prepare yourselves. Your enemy's keep falls.
So satisfying. I just love watching them win.
Oh man. Oh jeez.
From order comes justice.
This realm needs me.
We will forge a great destiny.
I will fight to my last breath!
The hunt is on. My stand ready.
Where will we end up this time?
Wait till they get a load of me. The battle begins shortly, heroes.
Wow, you very pretty.
Right. I'm going to pretend this didn't happen.
I will renew these lands. The gates shall open in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go on now, fight!
Growing strong. I just love watching them wilt. Seek the enemies of the forest. That was worth waiting for. Intruders. Let's go. I just love watching them go.
You're just in time for the seeds of my vengeance to sprout.
Fresh food for the
But which of you will gather them first? Choose a talent. The first seed is sprouted. Gather it, would you? I would so hate for you to not be the first to harvest a thorn in your side.
Regrow. Fine.
You had best be ready to gather another seed, heroes. Are you all right?
I am eternal.
Collect the seed. And don't fret about the shamblers. They don't feel a thing anymore.
Where's the excitement? Taste my spear.
Choose a talent. I feel a seed germinating. Are you ready for it? That one's pushing up daisies. Double kill.
You hunted the wrong game.
There's my precious seed.
Nicely done. Where's the excitement? Time for some reading.
Yes! Victory is near.
Choose a talent. Ah, a seed is sprouting. The anticipation is building.
That will be good. For the wilds. The forest fights back.
I see you have some thorns.
You are one with the forest now.
Isn't nature splendid? Gather that seed for me. That seems personal. Double kill. Killing spree over.
A tree falls, so a seed may grow.
Killing spree. Pitiful heroes! What chance do you stand against my terrors?
Life finds a way. Growing strong. The forest fights back. watching them, Will? Fine then. Ha!
My little seed is on the verge of sprouting. Prepare to gather it.
Time for some weeding. Well?
Shouldn't you be gathering that seed, heroes?
Dangers lurking nearby.
This was never your land. Go away for now. Growing strong.
Another seed is about to sprout, heroes. Ready for it.
I must pull back.
Ah, fresh as a flower.
A seed has sprouted. Best not fight over it, hmm?
Well?
Fresh as a flower.
Choose a talent.
I hear the call of Kalimdor.
Fire. Need some help.
Taste my spear.
Nothing stops the swarm.
Dangerous.
Take caution. The
A
enemy
new seed is set to sprout.
Fortune smiles on you. I'm on my way.
The forest fights back.
It is time to do what must be done. Double kill. Triple kill.
For the wild.
How impressive.
Let's destroy this forest.
Seize this mercenary camp. Have to go away for now.
That seed is ready for gathering. I suggest you do it now.
I'm on my way.
Taste my spear.
Well done! Enjoy the strength of my terrors!
Yes! Victory is near. For the wild. Ah, fresh as a flower.
A shame. My beautiful terrors have fallen. Oh well. There will always be more. Good. More fertilizer. Double kill.
Let's go.
Killing
Nicely done.
spree.
You can't do this by yourself.
Choose a talent.
I just love watching them wilt.
We better start defending.
Ah, fresh as a flower.
So satisfying.
We should defend here.
Nature reclaims all.
Ah, fresh as a flower.
The forest fights back.
Soon you will have another seed to gather, heroes.
I'm going.
It won't be long now.
Don't worry, I will build it. I'm heading back.
I think we should run for our lives.
Ah, there it is. Gather the seed before your enemy does.
Let's go.
I seek the enemies of the forest. I just love watching them play. So satisfying.
Uprooted a fort.
Let's go.
My, my. Yet another seed. I trust you know what to do, heroes.
Because you get treated again.
Gather the seed, heroes. Quickly.
A thorn in your side.
I think we should run for our lives.
Fresh as a flower.
I hear the call of Alendor.
Don't stop now.
I think we should run for our lives.
The forest fights back.
I feel a seed germinating. Are you ready for it?
Don't worry, I will go to you.
I will renew these lands. That seed is ready for gathering. I suggest you do it now.
A thorn in your side. Regrow.
Mayhem.
Need some help.
Get out there. Now. I sense danger here.
Your core is under attack.
I think we should run for our lives.
I am eternal. Growing strong. A
where to gather it.
Help, please.
Gather the seed, heroes, quickly.
Growing strong. I just love watching.
Keep lost. The enemy is attacking your core. My mark. Another seed. I trust you know what to do, heroes. I do hope we meet again. MVP.